Welcome to Whistleblowers in partnership with Wickes TradePro.
Hello and welcome to Whistleblowers. I am Gordon Smart, joined as ever by Mark Clattenburg, Ian Ladyman, and today we have a bonus ball. We've got the one and only Lewis Steele, the YTS Youth Ranks S-form signing at the Daily Mail Sports Desk. Very briefly, Lewis, what's it like working with Ian Ladyman? Does he just kind of offer advice and wisdom around the office like a Yoda?
It's brilliant. Every day he makes everyone better.
Yeah.
What, by not being there?
Right, we've got more questions to answer. This one comes from Rob, who asks this question. What did teachers tend to say about you in your report cards? Mark Clattenburg.
Must try harder and a waste of space.
Really?
Yeah. And then I've met a couple of them since, and they all said, you've done all right with your life, but I was a complete waste. And quickly, I was on school report, and I used football as an advantage because I still played football for the school. Yeah. And I was on report, and the school teacher said, look, you've got to get it signed by your parents. And I said, look, if I get this signed by my parents, knowing that I would be grounded. Right. So I said, if I get it signed by my parents, I won't be able to play football for the school. And my school teacher went, don't worry, we'll hide it.
Brilliant. Ian Ladyman, what did they say about you?
Cheeky and easily distracted, which was a bit of a worry, given that one of my teachers was actually my own father, and I was actually with him yesterday, and I think he would probably suggest that I'm still cheeky and easily distracted. Yeah, my dad was my German teacher. Double German used to be the last two lessons on a Friday. What a time to have to sit in a lesson with your own dad. And on one occasion, I got home. He said, "You fell asleep in my lesson today." I said, "No, I didn't." He said, "Yes, you did. You fell asleep in the lessons." I said, "No, I didn't." He said, "Right, give me your German book." I got my book out, and all I could see was when I've been writing was a squiggle where my pen had gone as I dad nodded off every time. He said, "There's the evidence you fell asleep."
Ian, suddenly it all makes sense, doesn't it?
I'm a German's hopeless, by the way.
I was going to ask for a bit there.
Lewis, what about you?
Well, I've seen Lado's notepad at matches. It's similar now, just a little squiggle where he's dropped off.
No, that's called shorthand, Lewis. That's called shorthand. I know you younger journalists don't use it, but that's called shorthand.
How is your T-line, by the way, Ian?
Not quite at 100 words a minute anymore, let's just say that.
Oh, mine's dreadful now, but that's how you get away with
it.
Dodgy quotes. Yeah, still using it?
Yeah, I've totally still used it. Yeah,
I've got mine somewhere. I've still got mine somewhere. Well, my report cards, I was a goody two-shoes until I was about 15. Then the wheels came off, and then they got back on again towards the end. But yeah, I was a good boy. Right. Sam asks, who's one player you'd never want at your club? Mark Clattenburg.
Oof. Go on, go to the boys and all that.
Who would you not want it? We don't know who your club is, but it ends in city and begins
with man.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
You wouldn't want him?
No, I don't like him. I just think he's too arrogant. I think he derails the whole dressing rooms. Yeah, makes it all about himself. I've always been a messy man myself, so
there we go.
Oh, yeah. Controversial.
Good answer. Ian Ladyman.
Yeah, I feel a bit mean, but I'm going to go Mesut Ozil only because he's an example of a player who unfulfilled talent. I can't stand players who have so much talent and don't make the most of it. What I used to see of him at Arsenal, and Arsenal's not my team, but I used to watch him at Arsenal, and it just used to drive me mad. Seeing such ability going to waste, it just infuriates me.
Yeah, I want to see like Memphis Depay.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
A player like that would annoy me. Actually, El Hadj Diouf.
Yeah.
I would have loved to play against him. I would have done 6 months in a ban for him. I think just couldn't stand them. Everything spitting on other players, spitting on fans. Not having that. Sorry. Right. Joseph asks, what is one meal you could eat for the rest of your life, Mark Clattenburg?
Fish and chips.
No, it's Guinness is the answer to that question.
Oh, then followed by Guinness.
Ian Ladyman?
Double egg and chips all day long. Egg and chips. Perfect. Slice of bread and butter. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Chicken wings and chips. Love chicken wings.
Oh. Tremendous. What kind of sauce are we talking?
Oh, whatever I get given, honestly. They're all good. Wingstop is good. Yeah. Just loads of different ones.
Talking about chicken wings, there's a place in Dubai, me mates were saying, you've got to come to Chicken Wing Palace. There was no such place, it was just nicknamed Chicken Wing Palace. Because I asked the taxi driver where I'm going, I couldn't find it. And you have to wear gloves. Because of that spicy. Incredible they are.
Mine's got to be a pizza crunch, deep fried, half pizza supper.
Oh.
Absolutely phenomenal. Dripping
deep fried pizza. We couldn't eat it every day.
I'd be delighted eating that every single day of my life. Said the editor at large of Men's Health. Right, Henry says, Rayan Cherky, Florian Wirtz, Matheus Cunha, you need to come to an agreement amongst yourselves. So rank them 1 to 3 in terms of success next season, right? So what we're really asking here, Ian, is who's going to make their mark out of those 3, first, second and third?
So I'm going to go Cunha, Wirtz, Cherky, simply because Cunha's the only one with any Premier League experience. I think it'll be easier for him, even though he's going to play for a poor team at Manchester United, easier for him to hit the ground running and have an impact.
Lewis, do you concur?
No. Sorry.
Good. That's what we want.
I've just heard stories about Cunha. I think he could be a little bit of a bad egg. I'm a brilliant player, but I think just the team he's going into, I don't think he'll settle. So I'm going to go Wirtz, Cherky, Cunha.
Good stuff.
Wirtz, I would definitely say, because he's a flair player and he'll be exciting on the eye and he's going into a good team.
Right.
I think Cunha second.
Right, you're all going to have to come to an agreement, though. That's the point of this bit, right? So if you can negotiate between you, is there, Ian, would you be prepared to compromise on any of that?
Well, I'll have to, won't I? Unless we won't reach an agreement. I just think Wirtz is going to find the first 2 months difficult. He's probably going to be kicked a little bit. He's going to be under pressure on the ball in a way that he's not in the Bundesliga. He's going to be playing in a league that moves quicker. Mark, tell me. We talk about fast-paced Premier League and people say, oh, that's just a cliche. But it's true, isn't it? You can surely tell us standing in the middle of Premier League matches as opposed to matches, international matches, European matches. It is a quicker type of football. It is harder, isn't it?
It is, but if you're going to come from a European league, German league's very, very similar for me. When I've refereed German teams, they're very physical, strong, and he'll have been kicked in the Bundesliga as well. And I think any player that's come from Germany can quickly adapt. And you know what? The minute he gets kicked, what's Slot going to say? Straight away, he's going to start playing that trump card of, we need to protect the players. The players are an asset. He's a lot of money. Therefore, referees now, the modern day referee now protects the modern day players, not like we used to. Not that we were under any guidance. It was more the entertainment factor. But these players now entertain with their skills. So yes, they need protecting. And I think Premier League referees now protect the best players and the more flair players more than they've ever done.
Okay. Well, when I say kicked, I probably mean more about being placed under physical pressure.
I think,
and closing down, etc. But look, for the sake of argument, for the sake of camaraderie and the fact that we do need to move out this section at some point, I will concede some ground to the guys. So I'm prepared to go Wirtz, Cunha, Cherky.
Is that consensus?
I'm happy with that. Just Cunha's got Premier League experience. That's why I'm probably putting him in. And also, fullbacks are never the most glamorous signings, are they? And I think flair players who score goals, create goals, are the ones that are going to catch the eye more. So that's why I've put it in that route.
Okay, I think you've got an agreement there, but I just want to ruin it by saying I think Cherky's going to do brilliantly next season.
Yeah.
Just think there's something about him. Right, okay. Remember, if you want to get involved, you can email whistleblowers@dailymail.com. You can head to our social accounts on X, Blowers Pod, TikTok, Whistleblowers Podcast, Instagram @Whistleblowers Pod. Right. As you will be aware now, because Mark's very upset every week about the lack of a leaf blower that's arrived in his life.
Yeah.
We are sponsored by Wickes TradePro, and they've asked us to assemble a table, which got off to a sticky start. Ian's done a little bit, Mark's done a little bit. I mean, if you look at Mark's hands, they've never done a day's work in their life. The softest, most delicate hands you'll ever see from the northeast. And
I use cream.
You'll never be a miner's son.
Hand cream.
But we've done all right so far. But Lewis, what kind of domestic talent do you have? Are you a DIY guy?
No, my DIY knowledge is get my dad on FaceTime, and he knows every trick in the book. He's retired now, I think, but he's a joiner, so he knows.
That's a gift, isn't it?
Yeah, but like if there's something up with the boiler, just get the phone out and he'll show him it, and within 2 seconds he knows what to do.
Fixed it.
I think maybe he should start, them YouTube channels when you type in how to fix the dishwasher or whatever. Yeah. He'd make loads of money off that.
He's the man. Yeah. There you go. That's your enterprise beyond journalism. Because let's be honest.
Am I not going to get any credit this week, by the way, for the fact I've built a pond in my back garden this week?
You've mentioned
a pond.
Incredible.
You've dug a hole and put water in it.
Yeah.
That's one way of looking at it.
Did you have any assistance from Wickes TradePro?
I had an assistance from a 6-year-old. From a 6-year-old girl. That's who my assistant was, and she was very handy. She was too. No frogs as yet, though. I'm sure you're interested to know. No frogs as yet.
I don't want to make this a little bit too middle class, but how big's your pond, Ian Ladyman, working for the Daily Mail?
Oh, can I just? Well, if I do that,
How big?
He's only a wee guy.
yeah, it's not. Put it this way: when I was looking on the internet, it said that if we were to put fish in it, the maximum amount of fish we can put in it safely is 4. So
it's small.
that probably tells you.
Ian Ladyman has created a puddle in his back garden.
Not for the first time.
Am I the only one that when you do DIY, A, I never read the instructions, but B, I've always got loads of stuff left and I'm
over at the
thinking,
end.
Yeah.
this isn't right, this.
No.
Why?
That's not a good sign.
No.
Mark. That's
No,
just-
that's true. But if it's IKEA stuff and that, they always send you bits that you don't need. You always have stuff
yeah.
left. It's like when you do Lego, you always get too much Lego. Just don't worry
No,
about that.
Just like to
yeah.
remind you boys, Wickes would never do that.
Oh, very good point.
Right,
Very
Lewis,
good point.
we need you to lean in here because last week there was I'm going to call it a bodge job. So
Yep.
we need you to step in here and just try and assemble this stool appropriately for us. So there's a drill there, there's a screw there. Can you just make that more secure for us, please? So here we go. The YTS Daily Mail Sports Desk, former apprentice, now fully fledged Merseyside reporter. You might need that for defence from some of the football clubs he writes about. There we go.
Yeah.
Anybody unfamiliar with the way a newspaper office works, senior members of staff have to do appraisals for junior members of staff. So Ian Ladyman, would you like to give an appraisal of Lewis and his DIY efforts, with 1 being you're getting your jotters, you're out of the business, and 5 being well done son, you're promoted, I'm retiring?
All I would say is that looks like one of his match report intros.
Disjointed.
Jumbled.
Disjointed. Yeah. Rough.
Is there such thing as a sub-editor for a table build? If there is, we need him in the building or her in the building right now.
You can tell he's on Zoom, can't you?
This is your
Try again, son, would be my advice.
Oh, fighting talk.
Lewis, feel
I
free.
think it's looking a brilliant bit of art.
Yeah, but you
actually.
say that about your intros too.
His old man was a German teacher. Your old man's a joiner.
Yeah.
I know who I'm backing.
And if you look at that shelving unit behind Lado, it looks like it's about to fall down on his head.
I think that's to do with the angle of my laptop screen. I really hope it is. Anyway, or either that or it's the angle of my house.
Excellent stuff. Great effort, Lewis, by the way. Thanks for getting involved this week. Really appreciate it. And you've done a tidy job there. Your dad would be proud.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Excellent. Right, boys, it's time to continue with our all-time 11. Right backs last week, some strange teams emerging, pretty bizarre lineups. To recap, Mark has Peter Schmeichel in goal, Kyle Walker at right back, a centre-back pairing of Pepe and Vincent Kompany, because he was nice to him once. That was that was the reason for it. Ian, you've got Buffon, Phil Neal, Vidic and Alan Hansen. I mean, it's actually pretty impressive, that, isn't it? And I've got Neville Southall in goal, Cafu at right back, Maldini and Baresi at centre half.
I was thinking about your team, Gordon, by the way. I would love to hear the kind of communication between Neville and his back four. Neville Southall trying to organise Cafu and the two Italians
I thought
at the
Neville
corner.
was talking Italian. Plenty of consonants. Right, so this is the response from our listeners. Jess says, Vidic wasn't even the best centre-back in his pairing. How would you respond to that, Ian Ladyman?
Says Rio Ferdinand. I should be able to get in touch.
Nice of Rio to be in touch. Andrew says David Gray. That's for me, of course, Hibs fan. Sir David Gray, now manager, the man who scored the winning goal when Hibs got rid of that 114-year hoodoo on the 21st of May 2016. Yeah, it should have been Sir David Gray. Tom, any love for Virgil van Dijk? You know, Lewis, maybe I could ask you, if you'd had your centre-back pairing, would you have had Virgil in there?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Just the way he's a leader, the best defender in the last 10 years, so definitely.
Interesting. Right. Left
I would
backs.
have had Virgil in mine if I didn't already have Alan Hansen and Phil Neal in my back four.
Left backs this time round. Lewis, since you're joining us, how about you get us started? Who would you choose as a left back in your all-time 11?
I'm going to go with Roberto Carlos. I just think he's such a classy player. The free kicks, he was fun to watch. He was sort of reaching the end of his time when I started watching football, but brilliant player. That Brazilian nature in the team, I think, is something that we'd like.
Rapid as well, wasn't he? He was quick.
And the shot power as well. Like, honestly, like, you wouldn't want to be in a wall one of his free kicks, would you? So
I heard a great story about him once, actually, right? When David Beckham was at Real Madrid, he took Brooklyn to training, and they were in the dressing room. Beckham's been in for a shower, he's drying himself, and it's the room full of Galacticos at that time, and Brooklyn just sort of tugged on his dad's towel and went, Dad, why don't you have a thingy like that? Pointed at Roberto Carlos. It's like, is it not enough for you, son, that I'm David Beckham?
Talk about his tattoos, I presume.
Correct. Who would you have as your left back then, Mark Clattenburg?
Been thinking long and hard about this, and I know you put him in your centre back. Maldini is my left back, and why? Yeah, because he was Rolls Royce, great player, but I can have him as centre half as well. So I'm having a little bit of mix. I can have him as left back, but I can always swap him with Pepe if I needed to. So I'm just trying to like get a bit of a formation, a squad together.
Clattenburg here.
Yeah, I know. I've got to say it.
Interesting choice though, right? So you're going for Maldini
As left back, yeah.
as left back. Okay, Ian Ladyman, who are you going for?
No, it's a good shout, Mark. When you had Berege and Maldini, Gordon, as your centre halves last week, the first thing I thought was, I'd have had Maldini at left back rather than as a centre half. I always think of Maldini as being a left back. I won't choose him. So with honourable mentions for people like Dennis Irwin and Maldini and Patrice Evra, I am going to go for Ashley Cole. Incredibly decorated English footballer, 7 FA Cups. Nobody's won more FA Cups than Ashley. 7 FA Cups, 2 Premier Leagues with Arsenal, 1 Premier League with Chelsea, a Champions League with Chelsea, a Europa League with Chelsea, Champions League runner-up with Arsenal, 107 England caps, and the only left-back I've ever seen who looked remotely comfortable against Cristiano Ronaldo. Fabulous player, Ashley Cole.
He always played at his skin against Ronaldo, didn't he?
The only player I could possibly say over the course of their meetings probably came out on top.
Yeah, he filled my newspaper for a long time as well at the front of the book.
You know what, Gordon? But I think people overlook how good he was as a footballer because of some of that stuff that went on privately, obviously with Shelley, and also the manner of his departure from Arsenal to Chelsea, which people didn't like. I think some people kind of portray Ashley as a bit of a wrong-un, for want of a better phrase, and I don't think that's fair. And even if it was to be fair, I don't think it should be allowed to cast a shadow over what he did as a footballer. He was world-class left-back.
And don't get me wrong, I thought he was outstanding. What a brilliant player. He started as a striker as well, did he not?
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he started.
But then most fullbacks did.
Most did, didn't they? I'm going to go for Andy Robertson. I've not picked a Scotsman yet, but I think at his peak at Liverpool, when he was thundering up and down, and his delivery with his left foot, because when I get to the later selections in my team, I want somebody with a wand of a left foot who can, tee it up for the big man to deliver.
You're having a big man.
I'm definitely going to have a big man in my traditional
two big men.
Yeah, I'm about to pick another 5 big men. So I'm going to go for Andy Robertson purely because watching him sometimes, I think it was about 3 seasons ago, and I just thought he has got an unbelievable engine. And I think sometimes when you watch football in the flesh, you can see that on the pitch, that there's a player that just has that something extra about covering ground. I mean, his statistics were ridiculous at that point, weren't they?
When I think of him, I'll always think about that night when Liverpool beat Barcelona 4-0 and in the Champions League. And every time Messi turned round, he saw Andy Robertson basically kind of standing on the back of his football boots. Messi looked haunted for many reasons at the end of that night, but one of the main reasons was because of the way that Andy Robertson had given him not a second of peace. It was a magnificent piece of or portrayal of shithouse defending all 90 minutes. It was magnificent.
There's a fantastic picture, isn't there, of Messi sitting in his arse, kind of raising his shoulders, shrugging his shoulders, and Andy Robertson slapped him on the back of the head.
What a night.
Excellent work. Right, so there we go. Our selections were Ashley Cole. What'd you go for, Lewis?
Roberto
Carlos. Maldini. And Andy Robertson. There you go. Get in touch with us. Let us know how your Dream 11's lining up alongside ours. We'd love to hear more from you. So please get in touch. Remember, we will be back on Thursday for the next instalment of Whistleblowers. Until then, get on our socials and get in touch. Right, I'm just going to put my ear defenders on because there's one thing left to do in the podcast. Mark, can you blow the full-time whistle, please? Jesus. If you want to watch more episodes of Whistleblowers, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. We'll keep you up to date all the way through the summer with everything that's happening in the world of football.